Someone recently shared a study on shroomery.org that had to do with near-death experiences and DMT, and this study was published on a website called frontiersin.org, I believe. The study seemed to be really interesting because they wanted to compare certain similarities between near-death experiences that actually are real, that are caused by certain things that don't have to do with DMT, and then DMT near-death experiences. And in the conclusions, they pretty much said that they overlap very significantly. So these two definitely have something in common. I'll also share some of the graphs and some of the questionnaires that they stacked up between the two, just to give you more information. And I won't go through the whole thing, but I'll read you guys the conclusions that they drew from this whole thing. And I thought it was pretty interesting, and I kind of think you guys will think it is. So here we go. I'll put it this way because it's easier to read. The study aimed to examine potential overlap between phenomenology of near-death experiences and those associated with potent serotonergic psychedelic DMT. Results revealed an intriguingly strong overlap between specific and broad features of these states. The DMT participants scoring high on a standard measure of near-death experiences, and in comparable way to people reporting bona fide near-death experiences, only with subtle differences that might relate more to obvious contextual differences than anything to do with specific inducers themselves. Indeed, these present results suggesting that certain contextual factors, i.e. delusional thinking and personality trait absorption, can significantly mediate both the intensity and quality of the DMT-induced near-death experience-like experiences, advancing the notion that, as with the psychedelic experience more broadly, the intensity and context of the near-death experiences are context-independent. The study findings warrant further investigations to address the putatively strong overlap between the phenomenology and neurobiology of DMT, other than psychedelic experiences and actual near-death experiences, particularly given some of the scientific, problematic, yet influential claims that have been made about near-death experiences. Better understanding of the psychology and neurobiology of dying, i.e. by using psychedelics to model it, may have implications for how we view this most inevitable and universal phenomenon, potentially promoting a greater familiarity with and healthy acceptance of it. And then there's a little quote that they included afterwards that says, "By meditating on death, we paradoxically become conscious of life. How extraordinary it is to be here at all. Awareness of death can jolt us awake to sensuality of existence." This is something that I thought about too, because basically I was thinking that if people were like suicidal or something, that they could probably, take a heavy dose of DMT or like oral DMT, and then they would experience that jolt or that revival and sort of a will to live, I think, because I think that is sort of something that I felt that it was for me. So I feel like other people might be able to benefit on that if they were given it in the right context, maybe. And this thing also, they also talked about how people with delusional thinking or magical ideation, and basically anyone that's like schizotypy, they basically score higher on these near-death experience charts, which means that anyone who's more open to like, I think it's like good to have magical thinking, because I'm a magical thinker, so I wouldn't be the person that I am if I didn't have these sort of schizo type delusions about my reality. And so anytime you have thoughts of paranormal things or like telepathic communication. It's considered, schizo delusional thinking, and that's what they were measuring to be a strong indicator of higher percent people experiencing near-death experiences. I don't necessarily agree with the really hardcore opinion that any thinking that's magical in a sense is always going to be delusional. I think it has some sort of structure to it. That's been my experience. I don't believe that the things that I've experienced were completely delusion just because they had coherent structure and they were things that I've never heard of before. I want to know what you guys think about using this near-death experience trigger or inducer to possibly help people in like the mental illness field, because I personally think that it could do some good in probably some of the extreme cases. Let me know what you guys think about that, and I'll see you later.